U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is now effectively the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in the nation. Some have cheered its growth. Others are wondering, when does more become too much? Lee Cowan is on the front lines.
Buenos dias a todos. Buenos dias. Good morning to everybody.
It's 11 a.m. on a Sunday in the heart of Hollywood, and the service at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church is just getting underway.
En el nombre de Dios, el Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Amen.
It was worship via the web. The church itself was empty, just like during the pandemic when parishioners feared catching COVID. Today it's empty because they fear being caught themselves.
It has definitely gotten a lot more tense out here.
On June 6th, agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement descended on Ambiance Apparel, a clothing wholesaler in LA's fashion district.
What crime did they make? What crime did they commit? Nothing.
The pastor of St. Stephen's, Father Jamie Edwards Acton, whose congregation is about 80% Hispanic, got a frantic call.
She said they got him. At first, I had no idea what she was talking about because I was not thinking about it, right? Even with all the threats and the, bravado and stuff, I was not thinking that it would happen directly to us.
13 members of his congregation were arrested that day. The Trump administration no longer considers schools and hospitals and churches protected sensitive locations anymore. So, the following Sunday, Father Jamie told the faithful to stay away.
I imagine just making that decision to close the church is not one that you made lightly.
No, not at all. But I was trying to balance, could we do church in person knowing that a good portion of our community was too afraid to leave their homes? It wasn't even people that were undocumented. I had longtime parishioners that I know for sure are the citizens and have been for a while, and that were afraid to leave. They were afraid to leave their homes.
No justice, no peace.
In Los Angeles, that fear turned to anger, and anger into violence. The raids were challenged in court for being indiscriminate and based on skin color. But ultimately, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the raids could continue. Since then, in city after city, the administration has been testing the court's limits, especially in Chicago.
ICE is running around the loop, harassing people for not being white. Just a year ago, that was illegal in the United States. Now, ICE is making it commonplace.
Late Saturday, the Trump administration federalized 300 members of the Illinois National Guard, a move Pritzker insists is unnecessary. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has long defended the ICE raids as only going after the worst of the worst.
Nobody's getting swept up. We're running targeted enforcement operations across the country.
But as those operations increased, so have assaults on federal agents.
A gunman opened fire on an ICE facility.
A sniper attack on an ICE facility in Dallas. An ambush in Alvarado, Texas. A violent scuffle in San Francisco. And then there's Portland. Protests around the ICE headquarters there have sparked particular ire from President Donald Trump.
The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other left-wing domestic terrorists.
In fact, this past week, while addressing top military brass, he suggested American cities could serve as training grounds for U.S. combat troops.
It seems that the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room.
Between the president's desires and deployments, however, are often the courts. Late Saturday, a federal judge temporarily blocked the National Guard from going to Portland. It's those kinds of decisions that leave some within ICE itself wondering if they're doing the right thing.
What was it that made you so uncomfortable in general?
I saw this push to find how can we accomplish the goal with anything that seems legal enough. We're lumping people with no criminal history who have been here for a very long time with the worst of the worst.
As part of ICE's legal department, attorney Adam Boyd provided guidance related to just how ICE officers perform their enforcement duties.
There's no question we have threats in our country. That's why the State Department and Homeland Security and the FBI and all these agencies work together to keep people safe. This doesn't feel like protecting the homeland anymore. It feels like we're just hitting numbers and goals.
Take the case of 20-year-old Dylan Contreras, who came into the U.S. from Venezuela under a Biden-era mobile app. Back in April, though, DHS began revoking the legal status of many of those who used that app to apply for asylum. While his case was pending, Contreras had been attending high school in the Bronx, learning English, and working as a delivery driver in order to get his mom and his two younger siblings, Helen, 10, and Caleb, 7, out of a shelter. Last May, Contreras did what he was required to do. He showed up for his court hearing in New York.
So on that day, you assumed this was just going to be another routine hearing in the process?
Sí, no había nada malo.
Yes, I didn't think anything bad would happen.
Él quería entrar legal.
He wanted to enter legally. He didn't want to get in trouble. He did it the right way.
As they left the courtroom, however, his mother Reza says federal agents followed them into the elevator.
Como 5 personas o algo así se vinieron encima de mí.
Like 5 people or something came at me and grabbed me, pushed me to the floor. My son screamed, and they grabbed him too and put handcuffs on him.
Just to be clear, Dylan didn't have any criminal record at all.
Para nada.
Not at all. Not at all. Those who know him know.
His case for asylum was denied last month. Pending an appeal, Contreras will be deported, leaving his mother and his 2 young siblings behind.
How are you doing?
Destrozada. Destrozada porque...
Devastated. Devastated because I've always been with my children, and he's been my partner.
Siempre él ha estado conmigo.
He's always been more than a son, a friend, everything.
Compañero, un todo.
The most recent ICE data, though, shows that those with no criminal record, like Contreras, now make up the bulk of those being arrested and detained.
What the
The Department of Homeland Security, however, is quick to list the violent offenders who have been captured, and there are many. As for Adam Boyd, well, back in May he resigned his position at ICE, citing unforeseen circumstances.
How hard was it to quit?
It was a difficult decision. If you think something is wrong, then you have to recognize that.
He's now working for a firm in Philadelphia, defending those arrested by ICE. And that's no small task. After passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, ICE is now the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in the federal government.
I would tell everybody who thinks that this would never happen to them, that it could happen to them. And people need to be ready for it and to think through the possible, kind of responses to it.
For Father Jamie Edwards Acton, that response is no more hiding. For any immigrant, legal or otherwise, this is the new reality. So for those who are willing to come back, the church is open again. With eyes out for ICE, while they pray for peace and understanding.
Does it feel a little like David versus Goliath, though?
Yeah, but, David won that one.